What's up, it's Rev, welcome back. Today jumping over to Yuma Heights up here across from the land grab estate in Oasis Springs, of course. And today I'm bringing you a beautiful modern house. It is a new construction that I was inspired by. Of course, once again in the Southern California kind of LA area. And I did a bit of pre-planning with this one, just to make sure that I was going to be able to lay it out how I wanted to. So that's where you see me just counting out my walls. I already knew really basically how big I wanted all these rooms to be and whatnot. I will say that I have been kind of struggling with a creativity block recently, so I was really happy to be able to get this one done. When I found this house that I was inspired by, I thought, let me take a stab at a modern for once, and I had a lot of fun with it, and it did exceptionally well for me on the gallery. Did like 10 times better than anything typically does for me. I uploaded it a few days ago before I'm finishing this video, but right here I have just done all my blocking out for the rooms, and then I am kind of finishing up the exterior here for the main structure and the shape of everything, and then I'm gonna jump in here and throw in my kind of main doors and the windows for where I want those after I kind of light things up here so that I can see. And I do these little beams everywhere, and that accent wall that kind of breaks up that room I do something really interesting with that I will tell you about when I get to it. But right here, like I said, just adding in all of my main exterior doors and all of the windows for this build. The one thing that you will see change a little bit in this is the layout of mainly the master bathroom upstairs. Right there, I'm planning like a big walk-in kind of double shower, but I do change that room up layout wise just to accommodate for having that, as well as a separated toilet and to fit a bathroom in, or a bathtub as well. And then I come outside and I'm just doing my coloring of the outside walls. Just go with this concrete, kind of mess around with the idea of adding the stone right there, but I don't like the hard line that it creates. So what I end up doing to create some variation is just adding that wood panel to the back. And then I jump inside and start adding all of the kind of move-in ready stuff, like, your kitchen counters, cabinets, obviously. Do a pretty big island in this one. And I do change these appliances during my decorating process, which I did end up having to just not include my decorating footage. It was kind of a pain to watch, just with how indecisive I was. It was a mess just laying things out, but I am very happy with it, the way that it ended up. And of course you will see the finished product of everything and how it turned out with the walkthrough at the end with the fly-through tour. But right here, just finishing up with those kind of move-in ready things, adding in my bathroom counters and the sinks, toilets, tubs, and showers. This does originally get planned as a 4-bathroom house, as well as, I guess you could technically call it a 4-bedroom. But I end up changing the little 2x2 room on the bottom floor right here to a laundry room, because like halfway through my decorating process I was like, oh hey, I did not add a space for laundry. So I thought that little 2x2 room was a good fit instead of being a half bath. I do mess around here with the idea of having this kind of dark gray concrete tile floor in the bathrooms. That does change in the end, and this is what I was talking about before. I just add these wine kind of cooler things in there, the wine shelves, and I'm adding this window from Love Struck that kind of gives it a little look as if maybe that's a sliding door for like a wine fridge. And then I do this fun little backsplash on the back wall there of the kitchen with that kind of messy reclaimed wood look. I think that is a wall from Eco Lifestyle, I want to say. And this is just finishing all of my other walls with this kind of creamy white that, you know, is easy to fit into any build, of course. But I do think the whole black and white thing really works, especially for this build, because of the modern construction. You know, a lot of white is very popular these days, especially. But then I just jump out and finish up my front entrance walkway. Then thinking about the lighting that I'm gonna do here, just add that one above the kitchen counter, and then I do another little hanging couple of chandeliers here where the dining table will be sitting. But other than that, I pretty much do the little saucers, and I know people are not the biggest fan of those, but I think that for this build they really are the best choice of light to use throughout. I try not to overdo it with them. Right here on the stairs I end up doing these dangling lights from the Spade pack, I believe. And of course in the bedrooms I do kind of try to hide the saucer in a ceiling fan, but for especially like the main rooms, like this big one that does end up being like a games room right there on the back of the house, I think the saucers make the most sense, as well as kind of the living area. But I did keep them out of the kitchen. I add my under cabinet lights right there. I like to do those in all my kitchens typically. Then I just add my exterior lights here to the front and backs of the house. And right here, what I'm doing is just a little covered, I guess you'd call it like a back porch, back deck, or like a pergola. And then I do this little trick right here to add a frieze to a fence and kind of make the awning thing that you're seeing. That's a trick I like to use a lot. I know I used it on the apartment build that I did in Oasis Springs earlier, and then I go up here and do all my roof details, of course adding in the solar panels, as this is a California house. So I think for me, solar panels are a necessity in a build like this, as well as I just add a couple of those vents on the roof and some other little small details here and there. Then jump back here and add a grill here, and there will end up being a little outside table right there. Then here, adding all of my miscellaneous appliances, which are the mailbox and the trash cans. Do an indoor there in the kitchen, and then the 3 that I put in the garage. Then I paint the grass doing these stripes here with terrain paint. It does end up looking a lot cleaner than what I've kind of messily laid out there, and I didn't exactly know the layout of what I wanted to do here as far as how the grass will line up with everything, but what I end up doing right here is just erase a little path on the sides so that I can fence it in with that low fence, and then I erase the front here and add some gravel, which I will fill with a couple of little bushes eventually in my decorating process. I will say it's unfortunate that I kind of had to cut the decorating process. It just would have created a video that was, you know, more like 30 to 40 minutes long, and I didn't want to have that. I will say as far as pack wise, I certainly did not hold back on the amount that I used. I was not paying attention to that at all, so it did end up using things from quite a few of them, but that's just kind of the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. I was trying to, you know, have fun while I was kind of in the middle of a creative block, and this house kind of managed to drag me out of it. I just had fun with the process, but of course it is on the gallery, and if you want to check it out, go ahead under my ID Revenescent. Had a lot of fun here. Thank you for watching, and be sure to enjoy the tour.